What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Let's fix this fucking camera. I'm gonna make this shit square. All right, here we go. So I want to bring up this topic today. It's still not square, is it? Is that better? There we go. That's better. Right in the middle. All right, we're good now. So I want to bring this topic up today because it's something that's popped up over the last month, and most of the last 3 weeks. But we've been on this lockdown thing for about a month now, and of course, online training doesn't stop. Right, in-person training has to be put on hold because we can't actually go in the gym, but online training doesn't stop. And I have quite a few clients right now that some of them actually have home gyms. Some of them went out and basically built a home gym out of different things like dumbbells and bands and stuff. The stuff that I'm doing here, I built workouts for them like that. And some of them are, their competitions that they have, their weddings and stuff are later in the year, so they're confident that all that stuff's going to, so they're just still plugging away. Like, they're still doing what they're going to do. And even people that don't necessarily have anything coming up per se, some of the competitors there that I train, their shows have been canceled. We're in maintenance modes in certain things. We're trying to make improvements since we got a little extra time. But the one thing that really hit hard that I think a lot of people really didn't know and weren't aware, if they were using a stim-based pre-workout, how much they rely on that, how addicted they are to that stimulant. And they absolutely require it now to do a workout. And this was something, again, I went off all stims about a year and a half ago. And you do go through like a transitional period, but I realized that I couldn't get through my day without multiple energy drinks, pre-workouts, coffee. I mean, I was constantly caffeinating myself up to tune of about 1,000 milligrams a day. And that was like between a pre-workout that had 3 milligrams of caffeine in it, a couple energy drinks here, coffee there, like shots of espresso in the coffee. Like, I was pushing it, right? And I was having these highs and lows, but more lows than highs. And the more coffee and stims I took, the less they worked and the shorter duration they worked and stuff. So I said, fuck it, I got off all of them, and I feel absolutely phenomenal now. It took a little while, but I'm off all stims. My wife, who's a nurse that works 1,000,000 hours a week in the OR, she's off all stims. We feel fantastic. Like, it's unbelievable how good you feel when you get off those stims. Now, my thing was probably for I couldn't tell you how many years, but I was into Jack 3D. Animal had one out that was so fucking strong that I could like see my pulse that I was using. I think it was Rage. Of course, I used the stuff from Primeval. I used, Kill It from 5% Nutrition. I used all the pre-workouts with the stims in them for years, and I was under the impression that was what I needed to give me the pep, give me the push. What I didn't realize was those stims were working against me, and I've covered this in other videos, so go back and watch those. I don't want to cover that in this one, about how stims actually keep you from growing new muscle. They actually can stop you from making gains, and that's a true fact. It's scientific. It's out there. The data's out there. My stories are out there. It's out there. Go look for it. Now, when the lockdown happened, the people that didn't have the home gyms, and even people that had the home gyms, they weren't full gyms. So now they're trying to find their way and kind of get used to this new routine, right? Well, maybe they don't have as much weights, they can't train as hard, they don't have the right equipment, whatever the case may be, they were still taking the stim pre-workouts. And what was happening is they're in their house. Like, so imagine this, you're in your house, you have some bands, a couple light dumbbells, right? And you do some push-ups, and you slug down 400 milligrams of caffeine, and you're in the middle of your living room, wired out of your fucking skull, trying to do this quasi-workout that's not really working out that well because you can't concentrate. You're so fucking stimmed that you're not being able to squeeze. You just want to go like when you're in the gym. You take the stim pre-workout, you go in the gym, you're like, you can't wait to get in there and fucking train, right? Well, now here it is. You have to be a little more methodical about your workouts. You have to feel, you have to squeeze, like not necessarily go at a slower pace, but the workout has to change because you're not in your normal environment. It's a whole different situation. So, of course, they kept taking the pre-workouts. But the problem is the workouts themselves don't really zap your energy like they would in the gym. If you're using bands and light dumbbells, you're not going to feel exhausted when you leave, when you're done with your living room workout. It's not going to be the same, right? You might get a pump, but it's not the same. So now what happens? They're sitting inside the fucking house, like tweaking out for the next couple hours because that pre-workout hasn't worn off. So they're in their fucking house like, well, I'll clean this, I'll do like whatever. And they're like, what the fuck? Like, now I feel like I'm going insane because for a couple more hours, I'm losing my fucking mind. Then I crash so bad that, again, you're not at work, you're not up moving around. You're at home where you can sit down on the couch for a second and fucking be like, I don't feel doing anything. Like, fucking just become a fucking lump of shit for the next few hours, if not pass out and take a nap. Which is fine, but that's not what people want. They want to some people still working from home. Some people still have to go to work because they're essential and they're doing the workouts at home. When they're done with these workouts, those stims have got them all fucked up. They're trying to get ready for work. Their hands are shaking while they're brushing their teeth and shit. Like, they're all fucked up. So the more people that kept telling me, like, Jared, I feel weird, man. I kept saying, like, look, because they weren't saying anything about the workout, the pre-workout. They were just saying, I feel weird. I'm training at home. I said, look, we all feel weird. Like, this is all new to all of us. It's very strange. It's a weird time, right? And then finally started boiling down to, like, well, do you think I should stop taking creatine because I'm not training that heavy anymore? And I'm like, creatine? Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, technically, if you're still training and you're making the muscle flex and contract, you're using, creatine as a source of energy. It's good for energy. Well, I don't need it for energy. I take a pre-workout. I said, oh, yeah, okay, that's right. What are you taking for pre-workout now? They don't tell me they're on it, of course. They go, oh, I'm taking this fucking 400 milligram of caffeine stim thing. And I was like, oh, when do you take that? Oh, I take an empty stomach about a half hour before I work out. I'm like, in your living room? Yeah. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, how do you feel afterwards? So I had to go through like this psychological breakdown with them to figure out what the fuck they're feeling and what's making them feel so weird. And it's not the workouts. It's the fucking pre-workout. So now I was like, well, fuck, okay. Well, now we understand what it is. You're not going to be a tweaker anymore. Let's cut out the pre-workout. Keep the creatine in there and cut out the pre-workout, right? Okay. So the next week check-ins come and I get, man, I just don't have any motivation, man. Like, I missed 3 workouts this week. You're only doing 4. I missed 3 workouts this week. I didn't do any of my cardio, man. I really didn't feel like eating. So, my diet wasn't that bad, but I really just couldn't work. I don't have any motivation. Like, this thing is getting to me. And I'm like, when did it start getting to you? Well, we checked in last Thursday. By Friday, I started to feel really weird, and I just had no motivation left. Because normally when they get up in the morning, they're kind of tired or whatever, they take that pre-workout, it amps them up. But now without the pre-workout, they don't have any energy at all because their body's addicted to that stim. It's part of their day. Their body's looking for it. Their central nervous system wants it. So now they're in the position where they can't even work out without it. They're addicted to it. They're relying on it so much that they're addicted to it. It's part of their psychological routine. They drink it and the flavor before you work out. Like, those things go a long way. Like, we used to wear certain shirts and pants on leg day. We wear a certain tank top on arm day. Like, you had things that any little bit of edge that could get you mentally focused, you would do that. Like, my legs look really good in these shorts, so I wear them on leg day. My arms look really good in this tank top. It's instead of like a string, maybe it was cut off over here, so you had like a thicker one and just showing your arms. Like, you did shit like that. So the routine or the ritual of actually putting those clothes on and going to the gym, you knew what you were training. You were kind of thinking about it a little bit. There's a ritual that goes into the training, not just the training itself. The taste of the pre-workout, drinking it, shaking in the shaker, that's all part of the ritual. So that gets thrown out, which fucks them up a little bit. But the central nervous system stimulation really fucks them up, not having it. And that's when you're now dependent. You are now dependent on that stim to do your workout. I'm like, but I thought you loved working out. Well, I do. Well, if you love it, why can't you work out? I don't have any motivation. Because you haven't been motivating yourself. You've been taking a stim that you can't sit around. It forces you to go fucking run around like a maniac and work out. Like, it forces you to not sit on your ass. So you've used it as a crutch this whole time. You're not motivating yourself. You don't love it. You take something that won't allow you to sit down and you go burn your energy off. It's like a little kid. You give them a lollipop, they go fucking nuts. You send them outside, let them run around, they come in the house, pass out. It's the same type of thing. You're giving your body a stim. So now here we have a couple weeks goes by. And finally it's like, wow, I'm feeling a little better. I got a little pump today. I could focus a little better. They go through caffeine withdrawals. They go with having to get a new routine. Right? Like, well, without shaking that thing in the thing, mixing it up or throwing it in your mouth and fucking swallowing. Without that stuff, you have to come up with a new routine. Like, we have a new routine training at the house, not at the fucking gym anymore. Like, everything requires a new routine, but it really, really showed who was dependent on those pre-workouts. And now what's happening, I saw 2 companies recently put out a Nonstem. And I think what's happening now is a lot of people are not using those high-stem pre-workouts to work out in their house. There's just no point. So now what's happened is they cut it out and they're training on their own. And for a little while, it feels awkward, but it's going to anyways because we have a whole new routine and like the COVID thing, it's just weird in general. Then they start to feel a little bit better. They start to get a little bit of pump. They start to look better again because they're training a little bit harder. Now they don't need it. They're like, oh, I'll save it until this is done. Like, once the coronavirus is over and I can go back to the gym and train heavy again, I'll save it for then, right? So they're kind of like stashing away, keeping in the reserves, which I agree, stim pre-workouts should be used like that. If you were up all night or you worked all night or whatever the case may be, and you got a leg day coming up and it's like your low carb day and you're just like, fuck, you take a scoop of something, do your legs, you're good. Taking it every day makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever because you become dependent on it. You become addicted to it. That's how it works. You start to build up a dependency on it and need it even to work out. There are people now that can't even work out without taking a stem pre-workout. So now, as these companies are making the non-stem pre-workouts, we see them starting to, I guess, push the narrative of non-stim pre-workout, and I couldn't figure out what was going on because I was like, why? You know, I had a non-stim pre-workout. I understood I don't like stims, and this is to actually give you energy and strength. What's with the new company? The company's now putting out immune booster formulas. So what they're doing is they're capitalizing on what's going on, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the bottom line is, when this thing is all said and done, and you've been off the stims for a month and a half, whatever it is, you've been locked in your house. You go to the gym, and your first workout, you jam that fucking pre-workout. You take a whole scoop or 2 scoops or whatever, and it's your maximum dose you were taking when you left off. You're gonna have some fucking problems. You think you're gonna have a good workout? I guarantee you're gonna feel like you're gonna fucking die. Your heart rate's gonna go up so high that you're gonna feel weak, which is the opposite of what you want to feel. You're gonna feel so stim that you're gonna be shaking. So remember, your body's technically detoxed and your receptors have upgraded again. You don't have a tolerance anymore for the stims. And all of a sudden you whack this fucking thing, I'm gonna have a great workout, and you don't even realize what the fuck. And you're gonna be like, man, that was really fucking weird, right? And you may not compute at first. You might say, oh, well, maybe I just pushed myself too hard because I'm first day back in the gym. The next day when you take that stim again, you're gonna have the same fucking effect. And the more you take it, eventually you'll build up a tolerance and won't feel that anymore. But you're gonna become fully aware of what that's doing to your body now, and the fact that you're gonna be relying on it again. You're gonna be dependent on it again if you keep using it. And eventually you're gonna realize, fuck, I'm like a drug addict. I'm addicted to this fucking thing. I can't even work without it. I remember there were times where if I was traveling and stuff and I didn't have a pre-workout, I'd be like, oh, fuck, I'll just go in there and do some light weights or something. Like, I wouldn't even push myself when I was traveling because I didn't have a pre-workout, because in my head I had to have a pre-workout. Now, other times I traveled with pre-workout. I had it with me so that even if I was in a hotel gym somewhere in an expo, I could slug my pre-workout down and go do my workout. Like, that's how bad it got. It became a normal part of your life. You don't even realize that a dependency is built up to this, that you can't train without it anymore. Think about when you started training. You didn't have a pre-workout. You walked in the gym and you're like, fuck, everybody around here is fucking like jacked and swole. Fuck, I want to be jacked and swole. What do I do? Fuck, bench press. Okay, I'm going to bench press. You get just the bar and you're doing fucking just the bar or whatever. You know, but in the end, you built up your body. You built up the way to train. You learned things. You built up a physique that was better than when you came in, and you were proud of it. You were progressing and you were into it, right? Well, if you do a stim pre-workout, try not taking it for the next 5 days. See what happens. It doesn't only just affect your workouts, it affects the rest of your day because your body detoxes from those stims. You actually start to have withdrawals where you have less energy. You may even start to have stuff that you get the shakes, chills, weird shit from not having those fucking stims. So, all in all, guys, right now, if you've gone through this video is for you. You have 2 choices when this is done. Go back to the stims, which some of you are going to do it. So, I mean, I'm telling you right now, it's just like a person who's, you know, been an alcoholic and got clean. They go right back to it when they're done. Somebody who's done heroin and got clean, they go right back to it when they're fucking clean. Some of you are going to do that. You're going to go right back to it and go right back into that fucking thing, which is going to cause higher blood pressure. We're not even going to get into what the problem with the stims is. But anyways, some of you are going to stay off it for good. Some of you are going to understand. And this video is for you guys. I did it. I did it because I knew my blood pressure was getting up high, which is not where I wanted to be at 44 years old. I realized I couldn't work out without it. I felt like I needed it. I don't want anything to control me. I don't want a supplement, a drug, a person. I don't want anything to control me to where I can't do what I want to do without it. Meaning that I have to have it in order to move on with my life. I don't want anything like that. So I kicked the fucking stims. I did it. My wife did it. A few of our friends did it. They did it, and you can do it too. If you want to. If that's your thing, go for it. Once you're detoxed off this shit, you don't take it ever again, your workouts will get better and better, your results will come better, you'll have more energy, you'll be less moody like fucking you won't believe from not having the highs and lows. You'll get more accomplished, you'll sleep better, everything will get better within like 2 or 3 weeks time of stopping this. And as you go on, you forget what it was like to have the stims. I see people slugging down these energy drinks and I'm like, oh, that would be good. And I'm like, for what? Like, I'm going to drink that and be like, fuck, like all wired on my skull. It doesn't do the same thing anymore. Like, you realize that for a long time, you've been addicted to a drug, caffeine or whatever other stims it is. You've been addicted to it and dependent on it and didn't even realize it. It snuck up on you, which happens with opiates, alcohol, coffee, whatever. Anything that sneaks up on you like that you don't know what's happening, when it finally hits you, it's like a fucking surprise. You fight it for a little while, you go in denial for a little while, then you question it for a little while, then you actually take stock of it and make a decision. And when that decision is made to come off of it or stay on it, that's the split in the road right there. You either stay on it and eventually figure out that you have to come off it at some point because you can't do it anymore, or you come off it and start getting your life back on track and doing things without it and not relying on it as a crutch. But seeing it across the board right now, people losing their fucking minds because they're sitting in their house taking a pre-workout. Like, you guys understand, the pre-workouts on the market with the high stims were never, ever made to be used the way they're being used. Ever. That's not how pre-workouts were made to be used. Pre-workouts are made to be used with Nonstem, feeding your body nutrients pre-workout. The stems were added in when every once in a while somebody would have a cup of coffee or take a caffeine pill with their pre-workout, which had amino acids in it, carbohydrates in it. I mean, there's multiple different forms of things, citrulline, things like that in it. They would take a caffeine pill, add it to it because they needed it for leg day, let's say. And then somebody all of a sudden, holy shit, why don't we throw some fucking caffeine in this thing? Let's go 200 milligrams. It's a caffeine pill. And then someone else said, fuck it, let's do 300. Someone else said, let's do 400. And someone else said, let's add Yohimbe to it. Let's throw this in here. Let's throw huperzine in it. Let's fucking, and next thing you know, you got this fucking thing with all this shit in it. And really, pre-workouts are meant to be to help your workout nutrient-wise, not stem-wise. And somebody out there decided just to fucking throw it together. Next thing you know, it's a standard thing in the fitness industry to wire yourself out of your fucking skull. And then after you're done with that, hey, there's some fucking energy drinks you should be drinking all day long too. Fuck yeah, why don't you drink 2, 3, 4 of those motherfuckers too? You got 2 workouts? Oh, cardio in the morning? Why don't you drink a pre-workout in the morning for your cardio? It's just BCAAs and some caffeine in it. Oh, so you're stimming yourself for cardio. Let's take the full one later on. That's got 400 milligrams of caffeine in it. And Yohimbe, I'm going to fucking blow my wig off and fucking kill this fucking workout. And then next thing you know, you're drinking a couple energy drinks throughout the day. What do you think's happening to your fucking body? I know because I was there. So be aware, guys. If you're going through this right now, you don't have to. You have a choice. And it's your choice. And either way, whether you keep taking the stims or not, it's fine. It's on you. That's your decision. Just make sure that you look at it through, I'd say, clear eyes, right? Clear eyes, knowing what you're actually getting yourself into and what you're actually doing, rather than what everybody else is doing. And trust me, everybody that I knew was popping Vicodins and shit back in the day, right? And I followed what everybody else was doing, and I was the one that got myself in trouble. Well, actually, we all got in trouble, but I was the one that pulled myself out of it. A lot of my friends are dead and fucking never recovered from that shit. So be careful. Just because you see people popping pre-workouts and saying it's cool and your favorite bodybuilder who's being paid to say that that's fucking cool, doesn't mean that it's fucking cool for you. Be your own person. Don't be led by the fucking face like a horse so they get the fucking bit. Don't be led by the face like a horse. Don't be a sheep. Be your own person. Decide what's best for you. BusterChang@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BusterChang.com is blog. It's the What's Best For You bicep, and we are out.